Hi everyone, my name's Adam Montandon, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can boost your brainstorming. Now, if you're creative, you've probably done plenty of brainstorms, and it can be a really good way to get lots of different new ideas. But sometimes brainstorms have problems. They can be ineffective, they can be boring, they can create ideas that are just not realistic, and sometimes brainstorming by itself just isn't working for you. So I'm going to show you two little things that you can do to really boost your brainstorming. Now, these ideas sound simple, but in practice they can be a little bit complicated. So make sure that you try this out a few times with your teams on ideas that are not so important before you get to using them on your big projects. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to iterate our ideas. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at two different methods of thinking. Iterating your ideas means not just coming up with lots of new ideas, but improving on your ideas throughout the brainstorming process. And we're going to improve on our ideas by putting them through a two-stage process. Brainstorming is normally just a one-stage process where you come up with lots of ideas, you write them down on a sheet of paper, and that's it. But in this two-stage process, we're going to flip how we think through each iteration. So what that means is we're going to think in two different ways. The first way that we're going to think is called divergent thinking. And divergent means going big, going wild, going crazy. It means the blue sky thinking, coming up with all sorts of new ideas where the sky really is the limit. When you're doing this divergent thinking, you're breaking all the rules. You don't care about budgets or limitations. You just want to come up with any ideas that you think are cool and are amazing. You don't have to worry if they are realistic or if they could ever exist in the real world. Just come up with as many cool, crazy, wild, wacky ideas as you possibly can. Once you've gone through that divergent, wacky, crazy phase, you want to take things a little bit more seriously. So we go to the second phase, and that's called convergent thinking. Convergent thinking means when your ideas come down to a single point where we can start to look at all of the problems with your ideas. The best way to think about convergent thinking is when somebody says, be realistic. And that's what convergent thinking is all about. It's about coming up with the right answer, not the most crazy answer. So when you're doing convergent thinking, you're going to want to think about all of your limitations. Do you have the skills to create your idea? Do you have the budget? Do you have the time frame? Can your idea possibly exist? Is it realistic? That's what convergent thinking is all about. Now, I'm going to show you how we use both divergent and convergent to give new iterations to our ideas in the brainstorming process. How I like to start is with a timer. And I like to set a timer for 5 minutes. You can use 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long you like, but 5 minutes works well for me. In the first 5 minutes, I work with my team in a divergent phase, coming up with lots of wild and crazy ideas. Then, for the next 5 minutes, I flip with my team to convergent thinking, where we think about all of the restrictions, all of the problems, the deadlines, the budgets, anything that can go wrong, and just find out why these ideas might not work. In that phase, some of the ideas pass the test, some of the ideas don't, some of them kind of half pass the test. And what I do then is I take those ideas and those restrictions through into another divergent phase. So I try to think crazy and creative, but within the framework of all of the limitations and all of the problems and real-world restrictions that I might face. Once I've done that, I come up with lots of different crazy ideas and bring them back down from divergent into convergent again to find out which one is the most realistic, which one is the most likely. So every 5 minutes, you're going to want to be flipping from thinking outside the box, thinking crazy, thinking divergently, to thinking smartly, to thinking restrictedly, to thinking convergently. This is because it's not always the most crazy ideas that win, but crazy ideas that are realistic, crazy ideas that are doable. And you can use this for any kind of situation. Imagine, for example, that you're trying to plan the perfect holiday with your friends, and you decide that in your wildest dreams, in your divergent phase, if you were coming up with crazy ideas, you think, wow, it would be so great to take a vacation for an entire year. That would be wonderful. That would be the best time ever. But then when you think convergently, you realize that it's not so realistic to spend an entire year on vacation. I mean, most people spend just a couple of weeks on vacation. You'd never get the time off work, and it would be so expensive. And, could you really do a year of vacation? And then you might think, well, that's the end of that idea. Then maybe you take it to the divergent phase again and say, well, what crazy stuff could I do to have a year-long vacation? Maybe I could travel and work abroad in a different country. Maybe I could find a job to do. Maybe somebody could pay me. Maybe I could become a travel blogger. Maybe I could do something that would enable me to travel and work and live out there for a year. You might come up with 5 different crazy ideas of how you could spend a year on vacation. Then you might go to the convergent phase where you start to look at all of the restrictions. So if you were to work in a certain country, what are the visa requirements? What are the problems that you're going to run into with the government and the tax implications and all this kind of stuff? There's probably a million different rules and regulations, but once you know them, you can narrow down your options to certain countries that you can go and visit and spend a year completely on vacation. So ideas that might seem ridiculous at the start can become more realistic when you spend a few minutes in the divergent phase and a few minutes in the convergent phase. This works for absolutely any creative process, and it can work as well in your personal life. So I'd really like it if you give it a try the next time that you're brainstorming. Please let me know how it goes and let me know what you think of this video because it really means a lot to me to hear your feedback. So please don't forget to leave a comment, like it, share it with your friends. Thanks. See you next time.